Mr. Quinn, Zurich's claims business has grown by 8% this year till now. How much of the growth is driven by rate and premium increases?
So the 8% is actually the headline dollar increase. The actual underlying rise is 13%. If you look at the 13%, it's roughly even between our retail and commercial businesses. And within commercial, it's mainly driven by price. So we've seen this price reaction in response to the inflationary trends that we've seen in the market. So a large part of the 8% or the 13% like for like, driven by price for us.
Will rates continue to rise due to ongoing inflation?
I think it's going to be different for the two different customer segments. I think for retail, you'll start to see retail prices respond to the trends we've seen this year. And the first opportunity to do that is next year. For commercial, though, there's a different cycle. We've seen rates moderating over the course of this year, and I think it will continue into next year. So I think you'll see retail coming up and probably commercial continuing to come down.
22 was another year marked by extreme weather and natural disasters all over the world. How much were these events a burden on earnings so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually much better than it was last year. If you think of last year, we had Texas freeze, we had the events in Europe and Switzerland, Germany, Belgium, Austria in the middle of the year. We then had a hurricane again in the US last year. This year, we had some floods in Australia at the start of the year. We'd had this major event in Florida at the very end of September. I mean, the burden's significant. We're about 2 percentage points higher than our longer term expectations around natural catastrophe losses. The trend has clearly been for more and more of these within the claims burden. And that's likely something that's going to continue. So we decided last year that we needed to start to constrain our appetite for natural catastrophe risk. And in fact, we've already cut the exposures we have this year, including in Florida. If we hadn't done that, the loss that we'd have had from Hurricane Ian would have been larger.
How will you deal with natural disasters in the future? Will you have to take more risks on your account? Reinsurer Swiss Re has already announced that they might set the deductible a little higher for customers like Zurich.
Yeah, so it's a challenge because no one really knows what the trajectory of these events is going to be, although I think we all expect it to be up. And for the people who own Zurich, our key stakeholders, whether you're an investor, whether you're a customer or a client, I mean, that's not why you come to us, either to buy a policy or to be an owner of the company. So we need to be careful about how much of that risk we take, which is why we started to reduce some of the exposure last year, anticipating that frequency and severity would become higher over time.
In a week, Zurich Insurance will present its new 3-year plan. In which direction are the targets going?
So, we're an ambitious bunch of people. We did this back in 2016. We did it in 2019. We've raised the bar at each of those events. It would be a surprise if we didn't raise the bar again next week.